just want to warn you, this might not be the only gig where I'm upstaged by a dog shitting on the floor. Standard we're working with today. To tell you a bit about me, I'm Billy Price. My dad was three things. He was a cockney, an armed robber, and a traveller. Which meant he would steal your shit, and steal your shit. But even though I've never spent longer than a week in a caravan at Skegness, the stigma follows me round. I got an Uber here, he's asking me for my fucking traveller name. What kind of traveller name? I do, it's Paddy O'Barenakle. I'm fighting for a favour, So you think it's alright to laugh at that, because I've told you I come from gypsy stock, but I'm making the impression of an Irish traveller. I come from Romers, so... When I used to say shit about women, you all hated it. Slag off gypsies all you want, no one gives a fuck, do they? No one gives a fuck about the gypsies, say what you want. What did my dad do? He was a copper farmer, I don't know. You tell I didn't write that, didn't you? Because it's fucking nonsense. And my dad wasn't like the nicest guy. I'm not trying to say he was the worst guy, but when my dad went and got some milk, we wished he didn't come back. I'm not trying to say he's the world's worst guy. I'm not. But if my dad was a millennial, even his fleshlight would have had a black eye. My big brother always used to say to me, he'd say, Billy, you've got to remember, it is way better to be beaten up than it is to be beaten off. Especially true, because my dad was a manual labourer, he had rough hands. Like a cheese grater. My dad did pass away a few years ago. Who's him for the what domestic abuse, you bastard? Good, he's gone. We're alright now, do you know what I mean? But my dad did die a few years ago, and it's a confusing time because anyone who was raised in that kind of household who's experienced like someone's tyranny, I'm not always going to say it's a man. Most of the time it is a man though. But if you've experienced that kind of stuff, you realise it's weird when they pass away because something in you still grieves for them. Do you know what I mean? So on one hand you find yourself grieving for a domestic abuser. And on the other hand, it's like, who's going to keep mum in line now? I don't like making those kind of jokes. I feel bad. Do you know what I mean? Because anyone, like I've said, if you're raised in that kind of environment, you know that anyone in the family that's not being a dickhead comes way closer. But I'm the only guy that when there's a text at 1 AM saying, you what? It's not someone looking for a fuck, it's my mum looking for a FaceTime. Do you know what I mean? It's just very handy that mum is also looking for a fuck. Why does he say that about his mama? I don't know. But when Dad did go, it was a confusing time, like I've said. But my big brother, he comes up to me and said, Billy, now Dad's gone, I'll be Manly House. And I'll do everything the Manly House does. I just find that weird, because it's been 5 years now and he's not shagged Mum once. I promise when I've been learning this in 2 weeks I'll have a different riff for you, but until then we're all on this. A few of you will know, a lot of you won't. I nearly died at Christmas. It's a really scary time. The upshot of it is that now I get invited to do spots on disabled comedy nights and I poo through a bag. You know what they say? Shit happens. And it gets me down. I don't know why. I wasn't even a fella that really found like poo or farts like that funny, and now I'm like, I'm always a bit gross, do you know what I mean? But now I'm like shitting out of what feels like my chest. Do you know what I mean? It feels very personal to me. But I don't know why I let it get me down so much. Because I used to shit in a bag after a night out. Like, some of you like shaking your head, you know what I'm talking about. Tesco carry it in the back pocket. We know, right? We know. You get caught in a pickle, shit in the bag, swing it round, chuck it in some poor cunt's garden. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know why I let it get me down. Because if anything, I went from a single use to a bag for life. I remember it was a really fucking scary time. I had this mad stomach pain for like a week before Christmas, and I kept thinking, oh, it's in the centre, it's not appendicitis. I'm not a doctor, I don't know why I was trying to fucking self-diagnose. Bad idea, there's a big pain and you're in shit in a week, go to the doctor, right? They whipped me off in an ambulance, and they were squirting litres and litres of water up my arse, and it felt fucking amazing. But there was nothing coming. Apart from me. And eventually they pull me into a room, they do a scan on my bowels, and they say, Mr. Bryce, I've got to tell you, you've got a hole in your bowel. And I'm like, fucking hell, what does that mean? They're saying, it's pouring out all the shit and all the badness into your guts. You're in the early stages of sepsis. If you don't operate soon, you might die. It is what it is. The scariest thing was when they go to put me in like a hospital bed to take me to the ward, my partner stopped us and she says, Billy, you need to tell them you're a chronic weed smoker, so they're going to operate on you, they're going to need to put you under and it might take more to put you under. I'm not a doctor, do I? I think that makes enough sense. So they can't me out, they're pushing over me, and I forget, and this is a true story, this is all fucking true. It is true. And I've even had people come up to me at the end of gigs going, is that a prop or is this real? Like I would fucking stick that to myself. This is true, right? But it's only when I'm on the operating table and they're about to put the mask on me, I remember and I go, shit, wait! He said, what? I said, I smoke weed every day. And he just high-fived me. And the next day I wake up and like the first thing I feel for, I've got a bag and I'm like, fucking hell, this is bad. I've got all the tubes hanging out of me. I had like one tube out of my belly sucking the badness out, one tube on my belly, it was like a vacuum to suck me in and stop me like belly from coming open. It was mad. I even had a big tube up my fucking knob, and when they pulled it out I was like, how the fuck did you get that up there? Because it was thicker than my actual dick. Up the smarties tube. Fucking hole, you know what I mean? Like the Japanese flag, but the red's spilling out of it. Why did I say that? Yeah, it was a fucking nasty time. But the first thing when I woke up, realised I got a bag. They're like, oh, you're awake. Your mum's on the phone. My mum's like, we're coming up from down south to come see you. Me and your brother on the way. Do you want anything? And I was like desperate. I was quite a lousy comedian before. I used to be quite offensive. And now I've become disabled. I realise, what's her? For real. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I'm trying to figure out what I can get away with now. Because I've always been like a straight-ish white male. Do you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't much I could say or do or get away with. But now, I'm a disabled, straight-ish white man. Do you know the kind of things I can say? No, do you actually? Because I'm looking for that R-word pass. Mum's like, do you want anything? I was a lousy comedian. I'm like, get me that book, How to Find Your Comic Genius. If I'm going to be laid up in bed for a few weeks, I can't move, I need to fucking do something, get myself out of this pickle. So they try and get that book, but they fail. My brother is a big joker, he likes to always play jokes on me, and he gets me like this Garfield comic, and I'm like, oh, I've nearly fucking died. Can we be serious for a second? But whatever, kind of a joke, I didn't really appreciate it at the time. But it was the next day when like the doctor's doing his calls and that, the guy passed me the phone, he's like, oh, I saw that book you said was going to change your life. Garfield, doctor? I do believe this was a physical disability. Correct me if I'm wrong. How long have I been up here? Anyone have a clue?
8 minutes.
Okay, 8 minutes. Calm down, right? We're alright. Right. Feel the tension's building. Where's this going to go? Geezer! In Monterey! He does coke on a Friday! And he does not speak to his kids! So, before... Hey! Look, it's comedy! I can make accusations like that, it's fine, right? Don't look so shocked. You know it's probably true. I can spot these Leeds guys from a mile away. Right, I'll leave you on last thing. I used to work in social, emotional, mental health education. I can't go to that kind of work anymore because if a kid tried beating me up and I had to kind of like restrain him, I'd probably fucking have a hernia or a prolapse out my belly bum. I don't really know what to call it yet. If you've got any suggestions, tell me. I thought this was going to be a really rewarding job. Do you know, I thought I'd walk in, they'd be like, look at Service, bent nose, I bet you're really hard and really cool. Not like that at all, it's like, you bent nose cunt. All the time. I thought it'd be like Good Will Hunting, do you know what I mean? I could find a little... There are no stereotypes or reinforced for this lovely lady. You be you! So I used to work in social, emotional, mental health. I thought it'd be a bit like Good Will Hunting, like find a little Raji, take it under my arm. But it was more like Rocky 3, do you know what I mean? Dodging it. It's only when, like, I didn't mean what I said to you earlier, man. I'm sure it's good to kids and shit, like. He just looked at me, winked and went, I don't. Oh, by the way, right, Molly keeps asking me not to do this bit, right, but if the PIP assessment people come asking, Billy Price won't click in his... This way I came in with my stick on the slow moving, and it didn't seem like the man I used to be. I just got it on the way to PIP, because everyone sensible told me you got to play on it, because this government will give nothing, Johnny, so I came with my stick. I was just being really unpleasant, because I'm not, when you're struggling, you're not a nice guy. And then she was like, can you wiggle your legs? And I was really like, I can't pretend I'm a paraplegic. It really hurts, so... Anyway, enough about my benefits fraud. I used to work in social, emotional, mental health. I used to get bit, kicked, punched all the time. I didn't mind it, I used to be a bouncer. What used to bother me loads is the spit. Right, I come home every day covered in like spit running down my face, tears running down my face, and I'd say to Molly, those kids don't need help, they need prison time. She said, you've got to face it. So I did that. Next day, there's a hold, and this kid realised his head's free, so he goes, spits in my face. I just turned, swallow it down. Because if you look like you enjoy that, they'll never do it again. I'm Billy Price, thanks a lot, this has been lovely.